A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the IIID Hyderabad Regional Chapter Managing Committee, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to today's evening. Today marks the 18th edition of our I5 series, and we have a very exciting list of speakers with us. Before we begin, I would kindly like to request Architect Pallavi ma'am to join us, along with Architect Shushmita ma'am for the national anthem. And I request all the guests to please stand for the national anthem. Thank you.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, Pallavi ma'am, and thank you, Shushmita ma'am. So, dear guests, once again, I extend my warm welcome to all of you all. Like I said, we have a very exciting list of speakers today evening, and thank you all for coming forward and making this evening very special. I would like to thank our sponsors for today evening, Darpan Furnishing and Malpani, for being with us, supporting this as always, and having us all collectively together here for a very interesting knowledge building session. With this, I'd like to ask our chairman, Architect Manoj Wahi, to please address the gatherings and give his welcome address.
Thank you, Gaurav, and good evening, everyone. It's nice to see people come back again for such a lovely evening. The weather is very nice, and I think we have, like Gaurav mentioned, a very exciting mix of people who are going to be presenting their journeys and their philosophies through this platform. And obviously, we are always indebted to Darpan and Malpani for making sure that we continue to keep presenting these speakers to the audience of Hyderabad and our members. And I also see some people who are, eager to become members. We keep calling them so that, they understand what IID does for memberships and for bonding among members. And I always keep telling Srinath, please track the people and make sure they are members when they are attending the next event. So that's to do with today's event. And also you would understand that we've started this journey in 2021, my term, along with my entire managing committee and my battery of advisors, which was in the month of September 2021. And we've come thus far. We are now at the edge of the new term being formed. So very soon there'll be a notification for the elections, which will be issued in the month of July. This month we'll be sending out, forms for nominations. That's one aspect, where, we need to pass on the baton. And there'll be like 30-40 days of ours being taking care of this entire association, while the new team will take over sometime in the first to second week of September. So that's how it happens. And I'm also pleased to announce that, going forward, we are in the month of July, and we look forward to 3 events in this month beyond today's event. The first one will come up is around in the second week of July, which is our I3 series, which is a subset of I5, where we actually cater to the students' education, where the same set of speakers, selected 3 speakers, will be speaking at a auditorium of JNAFU, and all the colleges of design and architecture are invited to attend. So that's going to happen. It happens during the college hours, which is happening in this second week of July, most likely on 12th of July. Sushmita, our education coordinator, is there. So it's mostly an education event. Just post that, we are going to be doing our general body meeting, which is the annual general body meeting, which will be the last one for this term. So we have one to start with, one we have in the midway, and this is going to be the last GBM, which is on 14th of July at Marigold. So I would request all of you to block your calendars, because that's a exclusive members event, and that actually tells you the entire, it's like the barometer or the thermometer of the term, where you will be presented with the audited accounts of the term for the last financial year. The Honorary Secretary will also be sharing his report for the term. The Treasurer will be sharing the financials, and we'll just review what happened and where we go next from there. And just following the AGM, we have a fellowship keynote address by the Principal Architect Gopa Menon from Bangalore, from the Design Practice Praxis. And he's a wonderful architect, and a very nice team of people who've been doing wonderful projects across, and quite acclaimed and award-winning. So I would request if all of you can block your dates for the event on 14th of July. And something more exciting is coming up, where we are going to be traveling out of Hyderabad on the 22nd of July. It's something we are curating with the architect, our mentor and guide, Yashwant sir. We are not going to disclose everything about it. The only thing I can tell you, it's called the Ikat Yatra, a travel to the Weavers Cluster. So it's a very nice event. It's a morning to evening thing, and it'll be a registration event by registration. So the first come first, because we have limited seats for that event. So I also request if all of you can, make sure that you have the updates. And I'm told that certain members in this hall are not part of the official IIID group. So I would request, if anyone of you are not in the group 1, group 2 or group 3, and you do not get the official broadcasts from Srinath, our executive secretary, then just make sure that just reach out to him today during the break or maybe after the event, and so that you all get updates on whatever is happening with IID. That's another point. And one more thing is that, we have another chapter, the Amravati Center, which we had formed in the year 2017 with the efforts of engineer Ravi Anchuri. He was one of the, push factors that time when the Telangana separated from Andhra, and we felt the need to create a center at Amravati, Vijayawada, so that was the growing city for the capital. And Ravi Anchuri sir and a lot of other members from our group, Yashwant sir, Aparna Bidarkar, all of them were instrumental in, making sure that one of our MC members became the chairperson of that center, and he continued, and then the baton passed on to the current chair, architect Sri Krishna Balarka Therli. And IID does showcase events. Every center and chapter is supposed to be doing or should be doing showcase events, which is one in a term. Ours is called the Insider X, which we did last year in June, and we'll be doing it next year as well in Architect Pallavi's term. So the same event happened as an Amaravati Design Festival in the year 2018, and now we are coming back with the second edition, which is called the IDCS. So if Srinath will put this, it's been named as Samavaya, which means a collection, a gathering, and this is happening on the 7th, 8th and 9th of July, which is the coming weekend, which is happening in the SS Convention in Vijayawada. So here we'll have a lot of speakers from across the country coming, and panel discussions happening over 3 days. Besides, there's going to be an exhibition. So it's going to go. So the IDCS full form translation to the IIID Design Conference and Showcase. So it is co-curated by a company called, agency called Akar. So the smaller centers and chapters use them as a platform to launch. So I request, if some of our members would want to travel to Vijayawada, they can do a morning, evening. They can pick up the days on which they want to travel, looking at the program. They can drive in the morning, come back in the evening. We're also trying to see if we can block some rooms and have some special rates for members who would want to stay back over the weekend. And because there are very exciting activities. Actually, this is a little small in text, but I will make sure that reaches all of you. So the 3-day program has been chalked out in detail. We have some interesting speakers. The first day is being opened by a keynote architect Charanjit Shah from Delhi, and so we have this program. It's a well curated program, and you have a lot of other workshops as well. So we can also encourage some of the people who are from the faculty. Rekha ma'am is here, so she can ask some students to, if the colleges can do a bus thing and send some students, because we have very nice workshops also happening along this. So it's something which our co-center is doing, and we should try to promote and be part of this as well. So these are the 3 days programs. Go through them. And if you need any information, we will also put the names of the members who are coordinating this from the Amravati. Komal is there, Suhita is there, and the chairperson himself. So they're all part of this managing team. I think this is another thing I wanted to announce here, because we are exactly 7-8 days, and they're looking at us as one of the people to push them, because smaller centers need a lot of push, and the exhibitors would need many of our footfalls there just to show that we are part of a fraternity. So this happens. So whenever I have traveled for such showcases to other centers, so the core centers and chapters, like in Gujarat we have 6 centers and chapters, in Maharashtra we have 9 centers and chapters, in AP Telangana we have 3, in Bangalore, in South Karnataka we have 4 chapters. So they all come together, and there are buses actually. So when it happened in Bombay, there was a bus which was taken to from Thane to Bombay and vice versa for people to attend, and even when it happens in Bharuch and other places. So I think we should encourage smaller centers also to become bigger centers and chapters like us, and create their own bandwidth. So that's another thing I wanted to introduce you all to, the IDCS at Amravati, which is happening next week. So that's the thing. And yes, another interesting thing which we are going to do, which will be the culmination of this term, will be the chapter exchange program, which also we are trying to revive after a couple of terms. And Ravi ji has been one of the instruments in this chapter exchange along with Aparna, and we are curating this program along with the Nasik chapter. They are one of the oldest, I think the second or the third oldest chapter of the country. So their 25 members from Nasik will be traveling to Hyderabad for a 3-day tour. And we are creating 5 programs around those 3 days, which is on the 25th, 26th and 27th of August. So you can also just block your dates then. It's a very, very interesting curation of events. There are live walks, there is a heritage walk, there is a presentation on the stepwell, at the stepwell of Bansilal Pet. And we have a lovely place to visit and a very nice keynote. So we'll be unwrapping the details soon. I think in the next, we're just tying up all the things together, and I think in the next 10 days we'll start telling you information on that as well. So I think that's another thing to look forward to. So we had a little lull in the month of May for certain reasons, most of us know, and then June became more like a holidays thing. Colleges were closed, so also IIID. So I think this July and August will be a little more active, and then we push to the new term, and I think we are going to see much more action, because I think Hyderabad is now one of the chapters to be looked up to. I think whenever I travel all over for all the centers and chapters, I think everyone has only one thing to say, that we all want to come back. And Pallavi has been traveling for a couple of events with me, and I think everyone is so excited to see Pallavi in the new role. So I think we have to support the new term more than what we did, and I think IID has to grow, because there is a lot of things happening at the center level as well, at the HO level as well. A lot of things in legislations, trying to streamline the profession, trying to make sure that IDs, the interior designers, are given a huge place. They are not like second-grade citizens. Sometimes we all feel that this association belongs to the interior designers, and we are more like caretakers, because the hand-holding process is on. There are going to be many more degrees where the new generation is going to come very strong with their qualifications, 5-year courses, 4-year courses, 3-year courses. So I think we wait for that day where this association will be led completely by interior designers. And obviously, I think most of us who are even architects justify being here, because we do a lot of interiors ourselves. And many of my MC members are M.Arch in interior, so they justify themselves. So that's for today, and I think this is a little serious, but I think it had to go through. And coming back to today's event, I think we're all just looking forward to the 5 speakers to take over from here. And thank you all of you for coming and spending your evening with us. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of takeaways when we all step out of this hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Manoj ji, for addressing the gathering. I would now like to request Jalil ji, Vice Chair IIID Hyderabad Regional Chapter, to please join me on stage and introduce our first speaker to the gathering. Thank you, Jalil ji.
Thank you. Thank you, Srinath, for accepting my invite to share your journey. So Srinath Venam is the principal architect at ANTS. He has been practicing architecture for the last 16 years, having established ANTS, a modern and eco-sensitive design firm, in 2006. His earlier experience ranges from designing ecological concepts for boutique homes in Goa to a 2.5-year stint with Kilroy in UK. He also worked as a Hyderabad project architect for IOI Malaysia, dealing with commercial and retail. His reach and insight into design, owing to his diverse experience, reflects in his work, which is seminally modern and dynamic with an ecological sensitivity. Some of his design have been accredited with platinum rating of green building by Leeds. His technical expertise is complemented by a striking sense of form and artistry that is certain to stretch the boundaries of design. I would now invite architect Srinath Venam to share his journey with us. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I know it's a good mix of group we have here, which is designers and also the product suppliers, right? And I know as designers we kind of connect, but it's nice to see the product suppliers are being the part of this fraternity. And you are the true patrons of designers, of design also. So it's my attempt now to reinforce that patronage. So try to put this format in 3 stages. One is the essence of architecture, and second is the process, and the third is the aspects. So the essence of architecture is not just limited to visual aesthetics. Is that what we're trying to promote? It's a space that's when an individual experiences it, relates to that, and that experience is what is provoking for them to have an individual thought. Right? Unlike a visual aesthetics, which is only limited to a certain sensor, when you give an opportunity to experience a space, you kind of allows you to, you kind of allows you to experience it with all your senses, and that encourages you to form your own thought about that experience. And as an architects or as a designers, I think we're trying to do that. Not about what we're trying to put across as just as a visual, but it's a communication that comes from you that resonate with what as a designer we do. So that's the essence of it. And if I give an example, you can have painters who would use paint on a canvas, or a poet or a writer who's using words on a paper, right? It's not the paint or the print on the paper. That's the essence of defining the art, right? It's actually the whole experience of it. So in the same way, in architecture as well, as an architect or a designer, we're trying to have a dialogue with the user, and that communication is what is fundamental, right? Yeah, I thought it's going to continue. Sorry. Yeah, most of these pictures are from our site and spaces, right? So yeah, this is what I kind of connect with. So it's not the room that is formed by the walls and spaces. It's a space itself, and not the roof and walls. Now coming to the process, the second part of it. The process begins, of course, I think everybody has their own level and stages of development in process, and it's a constant evolving one, constantly changing, constantly upgrading ourselves. So for us, I think we put the human as fundamental in this process. So we started taking as an individual and the physical presence of an individual. So we've taken that as a module. So you see that we've taken it as 4 feet by 4 feet, which is also, more or less the industry standard for many materials at what we see. So that's become our module of a grid. And then you see physically, vertically, we've taken it as 8 feet height, which is, if you take a plywood, that's a 4 feet by 8 feet, right? Most of the materials are in that. So we've taken that as a module, and then we started expanding. So there seems to be a connect. So as you see, when it comes to the volume, you will start seeing the same modules that kind of multiplies, right? So is in the plan. So is in the height of it. So you kind of establishing a human into a space to make it more comfortable for them. So you kind of make it, you give cues to the user with that modules, and then subconsciously you're supporting them, you're guiding them. So make it easy for a mind to comprehend what they are experiencing. And we also kind of imply mass and void. So, I'm just one of the aspects of that. What you will see is the same modules of what we taken with the grids. Between the massing, we apply the same grids as well. So between two blocks, for example, is emptiness, but that emptiness is also defined by the same grids. So invariably that invisible volume, which is void, is still responding to you with the same proportions. On the image you can see that, so the massing on the left is also multiple modules of what is there in between. Another aspect of it is the lighting, natural lighting, which may make it as, we have the abundance and luxury of using that light. So if you're not using it, we're not justifying to it, right? So we try to take advantage of that in many ways. So you can see that spaces how they're all natural lights, whatever you're seeing. Yeah, and then when you use that light, you can use it in many ways to articulate it, and that itself becomes an art form, right? It takes its own shape. Again, then you have the openings in a space, and I believe it's, I guess it's also maybe to some extent maybe it's also proven that we as humans, we perceive things visually in a horizontal space. Okay, we are humans standing on ground, unlike birds or unlike other fishes or anything. So we kind of perceive things in a horizontal, which is why you see our screens, our movies are all in a certain format. So there's a sense of comfortness in seeing things in horizontally, right? So that is, we take that, and most of our forms are horizontal and they are grounded. And that sense of what you see, the opening reflects from that horizontality. So you are capturing the nature or outside in that horizontal. So in a way, we're connecting to the primordial sensory of how we see. Some of the materials, so our palette has always been with materials that are ecological. Lots of experimentation with that. Some of the examples of how this manifested into design. What you saw the images earlier are of this project, one of the completed projects. You could see that the access becomes, we kind of, when we design it, so we are considering the lifestyle into context, the site and the climate, and which clearly defines how the farm is evolving. So one of the things is the primordial axis that we take into consideration, and how we kind of divide public to private, and again how you can see this plan, how it has evolved into that same multiple modules or spaces, how they juxtapose themselves, and as the earlier elements I was talking about, the same thing at the bottom one. At the bottom one, what you're seeing is that invisible void I was talking about, So when we see a site, we look at it as not that we're putting a building in that, we see it as a whole volume of site. And then as though you're scooping up invisible volume with your mass, what you're creating. So whatever is left out is the volume of open space. So that's the idea of it. So which is why you see the volume of openness, the landscape and the massing coexist into a nice order. That's what you're seeing here. That's some of the images of. So simple things. I mean, we here we have explored with the roof to take the natural light inside, and yeah, some transition spaces of pathways, creating a story of how a building, unwraps itself to the user. This is another example. Again, as you will see, the primary axis is what is defining. So there is a lake on this side of it. So that became the a requirement to say that you want natural element. That is, we took the water body as in reference to introducing the lake that is there behind to the user before even sees the lake. So there is a lake on the other side, and there is a building block. Ideally, it's a sloping site. I wanted to go along the slope, but Vastu didn't allow. So the client said it has to be on the top of it. Then I said, I'm not able to connect to the lake. So instead what we did, we lifted the building up and created this water body that kind of, symbolically connects the lake that is there to the front of the building. The same thing you will see again, because of Vastu, again, some of the massing is aligned to in the true north directions, and got lucky a bit here and there with Vastu in this project. Usually I would go by any linear forms. Understanding the climatology, you would like to keep it in east-west direction, the longer side, so they use the south side as a shading device and then protect it. But we have to go against that in this particular case, because the client said he wants all the bedrooms to have the water view. So, which is why we kind of wrap the building with an earthy material and use shading devices additionally to balance that. But interestingly, by doing so, what we also realize is, of course, this is at a perched level, so it kind of gets beautiful sunrises and sunsets every day. And also the way it is directed, the spaces that it gives them, they can see the moon through their window. So that is how it's been. You can also see the bottom, that is giving an idea of that what you're seeing, the green is the void spaces, how it is piercing through the building. And the blue is the water bodies, how it has been positioned within. It is still under construction, in work in progress. That's the rendered image. And on the right is the on-site present condition, still under construction. Yeah. So this is what I was talking about. We lifted the building and we created the water element and connected the lake at the back to the entrance of it. And yes, we used concrete as a floating planes, and then since the larger part of the massing is facing the sun, we also called it sun-kissed villa. And by having this earth wall, it gives a freedom for somebody to look at that building, because Hyderabad, sun is so harsh, right? You can't even look at a painted bright color white building or anything with just your naked eye in the daytime. So hopefully this should allow them to at least look at it and enjoy it, right? So that's under construction image. These are the aspects of it that goes into our buildings. One of the things when I talk about aspects is the sustainability. It is obvious to have materials that are green, that are zero energy and low carbon materials, and call it a sustainable building. But I think the fundamental thing, what we look at in a sustainable building, is a user experience. If that building is not creating or encouraging, stimulating a sense of joy to use and experience, then even if it is sustainable materials, it is still not in any way healthy, because we know that if it is not provoking that joy, what it becomes, typically a building becomes an economic activity, so it just becomes a simple function. So that will not, kind of connect with a human. It just becomes a function. So that, in a way, it's detrimental to the psychological well-being of humans. So we believe, and it is imperative, that these buildings have to have or create that sense of, stimulation psychologically, for a user. So we do kind of make it passive to start with in our designs. And they're all, just like from shading devices to having material, a hard surface material, which kind of takes a heat gain. So we kind of ensure that those materials are covered, and using rainwater harvesting and all these things. So that those themselves become the design elements. So you don't have to force it. You just have to deal with what you're dealing with, and naturally it'll just evolve into that outcome. These are all the attempts. So we try to keep it, as a home for it to breathe. You shouldn't feel that, if the spaces are locked and then you open it after a while, that your house smells or seems muggy. So you naturally allow it to breathe. For that, you need these materials. Yeah, so that it means that you're avoiding having well done paved areas, because the glare, what it reflects itself, is a lot of gain, and it takes a lot of time for it to dissipate that heat, right? So kind of wherever possible, trying to use the, I guess. Any questions or anything, I'll be happy to, I don't know about the time. Yeah, so if you have any questions, I'll be happy to. So I take that as good. All right. Thank you very much for being patient and giving me this opportunity again.
Thank you, sir, for that wonderful presentation and for taking us through some very interesting concepts and ideas. Now, I'd like to invite on stage architect Shushmita to please kindly come and invite our next speaker and introduce her to our audience. Shushmita, ma'am. I'm sorry, I'd like to call on stage architect Rakesh Vasu to please introduce our next speaker.
Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to introduce the next presenter of the evening, who is my friend, my classmate, architect Professor Suman Rekha. She's a current principal of IIID, School of Architecture and Planning. A 1996 graduate from JNTU with Masters in Interior Design. She began a teaching career in IIID, School of Architecture and Planning in 2003. And since then, she has served in various roles as heads of various committees. She has been heading IIID as its principal from 2020. She is also an associate member of professional bodies like Indian Institute of Architects and Indian Institute of Interior Designers. nominated by the Government of Telangana as Executive Council member of JNA FIU. She has worked closely with university and served in the capacity that required frequent collaboration among departments and teams related to administration, course structure, question paper setting and evaluation. She has conducted various workshops, seminars and conferences at CSIIT and has been an external juror to premium architecture colleges. She has received Best Guide Award for Birla White Yuratna Awards for guiding students at national level. She has been appointed at NATA, evaluated by Council of Architecture, appointed by COA as convener and member for inspecting various architectural institutions in India. She was a speaker at the Indian Institute of Architects Telangana chapter, Women's Architects, A Perspective. She has successfully hosted the zonal convention of NASA at CSIIT. She was a recipient of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Excellence Award from Mother Foundation for outstanding contribution in architectural education. Suman Rekha is respected as a teacher who is clear and consistent in approach. She has been associated with facilitating design studios and thesis projects for both undergraduate and postgraduate students that enable them to produce their maximum potential. Students under her guidance have bagged university gold medals, and one of them is me here. Prestigious awards at both national and international level. She has been able to reach out to students who normally prefer to be on the margins to become part of the mainstream group, recognizing their strength and facilitating a positive direction. Please welcome Architect Professor Suman Rekha.
I think it's too close. Thank you, Rakesh. That was very long, I think. Very good evening to you all. First and the foremost, I would like to thank Architect Manoj Wahi and the entire team of IIID HRC for giving me this opportunity. It's indeed an honor to be here and present my journey in the midst of eminent professionals. And it's wonderful to see the amazing projects of Architect Srinath. A word of appreciation to Architect Srinath. And I have attended quite a lot of IIID I-5 series and heard from the best of eminent architects and interior designers. Their journeys are incredible and their presentations were mostly focused on their projects. Here mine is going to be a little different because I'm a hardcore academician and my presentation is going to revolve around students, academics, education systems. And it's a small effort finally to bring the students, to make the students able enough to reach up to this kind of platforms. So here starts my story. I was the pampered youngest daughter of my parents. You can see the picture there. People say that I exactly look like my mother, and I feel happy about it. And I thought that it is very apt to start with them because those days when architecture was not known to many, my parents believed in me and gave me the wings to fly. And they are instrumental in getting me here. So my schooling started at the age of 3.5 years, directly with first standard, with no kind of kindergarten education. And then again I skipped my fourth standard because of the double promotion trend those days. And in 7th standard, my teachers had to manipulate my age to enable me to write the 7th standard board examinations. And it was a small school, and I was very happy because I was in limelight. Teachers, all the teachers would know me. I was good in academics, active in culturals. So that is, I think, was one of the best phase in my life. From 8th standards, I've joined a school which was big in all ways, and I was a bit lost in the crowd. Intermediate was good, had great time with friends. Now, this is the turning point in my life. After intermediate, I went for MSET counseling and joined computer science engineering in Kadapa. But within an hour, I had to cancel my admission because the hostel was 20 kilometers away from the college. And immediately after that, I joined BSc Electronics in Kotte Women's College. And I think I was there for 2 months. And in between, during that period, one fine day, my sister was traveling in a bus, and she met one of my senior who was pursuing architecture. They had good conversation about architecture and small little things like carrying T-scale, long 5 hours examinations, breaks in between examination. My sister was very impressed. She came back home and shared her views about architecture, and I was mightily impressed. Then that's how I joined architecture. And that's a turning point in my life. And you can see my sister. She left us too early in life, and I'm sure that she's blessing me from there. And you can see the picture, my classmates. They are my BR classmates. Some of them are here to cheer me. Thank you, Mavericks. We call ourselves Mavericks. And 5 years of architecture was an incredible journey with profound memories, which I'm going to cherish forever. I got married before I graduated. So that took precedence initially. Then I took sabbatical for 4 years. In 2000, I joined VR Associates under engineer Ravi. And after that, continued till 2003. In 2003, one of my uncle, who is also an architect, advised me to take up teaching. So thus, I joined CSIT. That's the right stop in 2003. When I joined CSIT in 2003, little did I know that I'll be heading this institution. I was very naive, timid, and soft-spoken, and completely unaware of my own abilities. Now here the role of a mentor comes into picture. I would like to read a quote here said by Mr. Bob Proctor. A mentor is someone who sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourselves and helps bring it out of you. This is very true in my case, and I thank Professor Ali Farid sir and Dr. Dharmraj sir, who actually played a very important role in my career, and I'm ever grateful to them. And they were so confident about me. Various responsibilities were bestowed upon me in my early age itself. And in a subconscious mind, I was learning the different trades which are needed to head an institution. And that's how actually, these are the various roles that I had actually. I joined as academic assistant and later assistant professor, associate professor, professor, that's one thing. And the parallel ones was, within 1 month I was appointed as the practical training coordinator, which continued for 11 years, and then examination in charge. There wasn't any examination section in CSIT, it was just in Almara. But after I joined the institutions, the keys were handed over to me, and then the examination section started in CSIT. And I was also the NATA coordinator for the state, asked for the first center for NATA, then the other roles. The grievances cell, people say that I'm very soft and I can be a good counselor. So I was given the responsibility of the grievances cell as well. And here I would also like to thank our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kavita Daryani Rao ma'am, who played a key role in my professional journey. Ma'am is not here, but still. Now, after a few years of experience, I have realized that every individual have their own way of teaching. You can, you cannot expect everybody to teach in a similar way. So here, I'm just going to talk about few points which I feel are good, or which I follow, or which worked out for me. So need not be the same for other teachers. First thing is about changing strategies. We deal with undergraduate students and postgraduate students, be our junior semester students, senior semester students and all. We cannot have similar strategies with all the students. I'm sorry, can I have some water? Sorry for that. So we cannot have the same strategies for all the students. So we change our strategies depending on the type of students, the kind of students we are dealing with, the kind of subject we are taking, or the kind of topics, or the situation and the time. So this is one thing. Second thing is knowing each student. This I follow because it's very important to know your student. So I make sure that I know the names of all my students. And I also try to gain little information about them, maybe about their habits, or about their stay, or little about their family. When they join the college, we try to actually interact with them in those ways. So I remember those things. And when I interact with them, I call out their names, they feel very happy. And that's how. And when I have to give any responsibility, and don't look up to the very good students or toppers of the class all the time. I prefer to go to the students who are average or maybe below average. I call them and give them the responsibilities. They really feel very motivated. And that's how they try to develop some interest in academics also. The other thing, the teaching methodology. As I told you, every teacher have their own ways. So teaching through presentations or teaching it like a story. So we have different subjects. It's not just design all the time. We have structures, we have services, construction, and nowadays it has become a trend. A lot of presentations available online. People just download the presentation and then it is played in the class. Sometimes, not everybody. But what I feel is, need not be presentations all the time or need not be stories all the time. When you are giving a presentation, you are writing something on the slide. The students tend to read from the slide and then don't focus on what exactly the teacher is trying to convey in some cases. But when you are telling it like a story and showing some visuals there, then the students try to understand. It's interesting for them. You're seeing some visuals, you are listening to some story. And sometimes when you actually don't want them to actually sit in the class or listen to the lecture, or when they don't want to sit in the class and listen to the lecture, it's better if you actually take them to the field or on-site. They have better exposure and they enjoy there more, and those things get registered in their mind. I hope I'm not boring you. Because generally for students, it's a different crowd today. For students, I tell them, you have the right to sleep in my class, but you don't have the right to yawn in my class. You can sleep keeping your eyes open. So I will not know whether you're sleeping or not. But I cannot do that with you. It's just to wake you up in case if you're sleeping, keeping your eyes open. Then the next thing, so market surveys, taking things to the site and workshop kind of things. Students enjoy them more and they try to remember, and that gets registered in their mind. Another important thing is the vertical design studio, which we have started in CSIT from last 2-3 years. This is about the interaction across the semesters. During ours, we know our seniors very well. We are supposed to know, otherwise we know we would be punished. I think our seniors, Nandu is here. We got ranked properly, so that's why we know all our seniors. But now the present generation, they don't even know their classmates. though we got ranked, we've learned a lot from our seniors. The interactions help us a lot. Because as the students are not interacting properly these days, whenever we start the semester, the first week we conduct vertical design studio, wherein the students across the semesters form into groups and they work on a design problem which will be a competition. So they get a chance to interact. Then we try to provide various opportunities to the students where they can showcase their talent. So we encourage them to participate in various competitions, go for the workshops outside. And again, as I told you, this is not just meant for the toppers or the very good students, we try all the students. Then information coming from an outsider. This point, I think I will talk about this at the end. Holistic approach is another thing. Only I think this slide is going to take little time. Otherwise, because Sushmita was cautioning me, ma'am, you should stop before the buzzer rings. I'll try my level best. So holistic approach is something which is very, very important. Instead of teaching any subject independently, it's very important for the teachers. Can you hear? Am I audible? Very important for the teachers to integrate and connect the subjects with our core subject, with this design, so that the student starts understanding the importance of all the subjects and don't ignore them. Another thing is importance of manual work. We understand the importance of manual work. We still prefer if the students work manually, at least in the junior semester. Of course, this is a very, very debatable topic. But when you actually work manually, we feel that your focus will be on your design. When you're working on the system, your ideas and your imaginations get curtailed. These are actually my few things I've tried to share, where I feel, these kind of things generally I follow when I teach the students. Generally, it is said that teaching is a very easy and a good profession, very easy and a good profession for women. They need not work hard. They have fixed timings and all. And same thing is said about the bankers as well. But we all see how much of pressure they go through. Yes, definitely teaching is the best profession, but not an easy one. We have our own share of challenges. So I would like to share very few of them which are related to students here. First thing is lack of interest. A lack of interest here, I would like to talk about the admissions, admission or any institution or the university. Small petty issues, people go to the media or approach the court and all. This is not at all healthy. It's a very unhealthy thing. And then admin works. Teachers' role is not just limited to academics. They have equal amount of admin work these days. And another thing, the favorite words of our students. I'm really sorry. I'll have to go to counselor. I need these kind of things. I'm not trying to actually insult. Don't have any problem. They're using these words. And sometimes parents also support them. Which is, I think, it's very important to actually maintain good health and trying to come out of these things. So these are few challenges which I actually tried to show here, thorns, but still we are passionate about teaching. We always try to motivate the students. This is another thing I would not like to elaborate. You all know that, teacher is not just teaching or facilitating. We have become disciplinarians sometimes. We need to police them sometimes. We'll have to be very soft like mother. We'll have to be a leader, friend, counselor and all. We do all these things at our institutions. Sometimes the students share a lot of things with us which they don't share with their parents. And there were instances where the students actually, they were in the hospital, they tried for the suicide attempt and all, they were hospitalized. The parents come to us, they asked us to counsel, and somehow we could convince them and they've completed the course. Lot of instances, but these are the few roles which we play and we take them seriously. Here, I just want to speak a few words here. about interior design course, because as I'm an academician, I would like to say that any kind of architecture cannot be understood without interior design. So the most important aspect of architecture is spatial planning, where interior design plays a major role. You all know that. And with the kind of lifestyle these days we have, there is a lot of demand for interior design course, and there are various institutions which are offering this course, be it the certificate course, the diploma course, degree courses, starts from 6 months course to 3 years course, and masters 2 years masters or PG diploma. This is a very good career option. I want to share my personal observation here. Many students are actually preferring to do interior design than architecture these days. You know, the institutions which are offering interior design, their admissions are getting filled up, and we are struggling hard to fill the admissions. Of course, definitely this is not good for architecture, but very good for interior design. These few words I just wanted to say. These are, I've just mentioned because we have seen excellent projects and all. Mine, this is about my practice. Mostly I've done the residential projects, architecture and interiors. And as how students need some kind of motivation to excel in their work, we teachers also need some kind of encouragement and motivation to keep the momentum alive. So these are some of the awards which Rakesh had already mentioned. So I just thought I'll share with you all. And this is something which I really love. These are small pleasures. In the sense, my satisfaction lies in the fact that in these 20 years of teaching, I have students long graduated, come back to acknowledge my role in their success stories and in their growth. And that gives me immense satisfaction. These are some of the cards, the greeting cards which they give, and the wishes on Teachers' Day. When they come from abroad, even if they're here for a week or for 2 days, they just come to our college, say hello to us. All these things actually gives a lot of satisfaction. And Gaurav is here. Gaurav got a pencil for me from Malaysia. Where are you, Gaurav? Gaurav. I still have that with me. So this is about this thing. These are the few things, some achievements of our institutions. When I'm being the principal, my success story need not be my story alone or my awards alone. It's about my institution as well. These are some of the pictures where our students or faculty won awards at the national level and international level and all. The NASA prizes, IIID, IIID, all these things. And the increasing positivity of our institution, the various trophies our students win, respect or appreciating words from the peers or the seniors from the faculty, all these factors, my happiness coefficient. I would just take this opportunity to acknowledge the contributions made by IIID HRC towards architecture and interior design education, right from the bamboo workshop or best of the waste, the sessions, various competitions and workshops which were conducted during Insider exhibition, remembering B.V. Doshi event, and sessions with architect Hiren Patel or architect Neel Kanchaya, sketching exercises. IIID has been doing its best to contribute towards architectural education and interior design education. And I think they deserve a round of applause. This is the last thing. I was telling you that, information coming from an outsider. Information coming from a juror or an outsider is very important for the students. They take it very seriously. How much ever we are teaching them or telling them 100 times, they don't capture it. But when it comes from an outsider, they take it seriously. They find it very justified and it registers in their mind. So it's very rare to get a platform like this where I can meet architects, interior designers and various professionals. I appeal to all of you, please do your bit to contribute towards architectural education and interior design education. It can be in the form of a small presentation. You can present your works. We can have some sessions with the students, some kind of workshops, or I request the trade members, if you can arrange some kind of visit to your factories, your workshops, that is going to help the students a lot. This is the last thing. You know, my entire journey was very smooth. It's only because of my strength. This is my family, my mother-in-law, my husband and my kids. With their strong support, my journey was very smooth. And on the other side, my partner in crime, Sushmita, and she's there for me for everything. Thank you very much, Sushmita. And last but not the least, I would like to thank my friend Aparna for always motivating me, and Padmaja is also here. Thank you, Padmaja. And special thanks to my friend Rakesh for the confidence you had in me, Rakesh. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you. Yeah.
How difficult it was and how challenging it was when students like Rakesh was with us.
It was not difficult, and it was not a challenge as well, because we are very passionate about teaching, and we really enjoy, we really like it when students like Rakesh, Pallavi, Amita or Ramohan, when they we are very happy about such students. It was not at all difficult for us. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. I think the last part, what you said about we contributing in some way or the other to the whole gamut of education is extremely important. I also appeal to everyone what the education system of architecture and interior design going through. I also am part of it now, and many people sitting in this room much ahead of me have been in this, and we understand how painful it is that we need to give design and architecture its rightful place, and that will only happen when we go back and you make a difference and influence or ignite a spark of brilliance in the mind of the students to be more passionate towards this profession. So thank you, ma'am, for sharing your journey.
Thank you very much. And I'm very happy to see my student Ruxana. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, as far as the market visit, ma'am, here. Yeah, as far as the market visit, we always are accepting students for the market visit at any of our showrooms at Darpan Furnishings. So the offer is open for you, ma'am. So any kind of market research or market survey you want to do, you can just approach us anytime. And for the graduation students, we will take actually in the batches of 20, so that we can just take them through the entire journey of furnishing at their market survey and the market search. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I'll get in touch with you.
Yeah, and to add to this, just last week I was at the office of the Vice Chancellor, and they and their board has proposed a very nice initiative in collaboration with IIID, which is an industry corner. So the JNFU wants to set up an industry corner. Till we have an MOU with the JNFU, which was penned at the time of Aparna and Nandu's term, where we actually have a center of excellence or a materials library. But till that time we get a space. So they have now allowed that starting July 2nd week, every week or every fortnight, one industry will take up a corner in the university. They'll allocate a space and it will be open for a week or 14 days, and all the colleges affiliated under JNFU and outside are free to visit that corner, and it will talk about products you can touch and feel. There'll be an expert who will be giving them sessions on the product. So we are going to start this. It's going to be launched in the second week of July, and I think all the participating colleges should encourage their students to visit. And I also seek the support of our industry partners to give us their time and their commitment towards this industry corner initiative, where we want to start with some simple items and move on to some complex things, like we start with plywood, paints and surfaces and furnishings, and then move on to maybe air conditioning, plumbings, acoustics and otherwise. So I think the entire session is going to happen. It is going to be a continuous process. So, we'll be discussing this more in detail, and since you are heading an institute and you can also all play a role, we already have a group of IID. I think we should take this initiative, how the industry and the education can collaborate, how the architects can contribute to through the system of education. I think that's very important right now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Manoj.
Thank you, Suman ma'am. Thank you for sharing your insights. And me, I'm myself an academician and associated with the same college. So it gives me equal or rather immense pride to acknowledge the presentation which is given by Suman ma'am. At this point, I would also like to acknowledge Suleiman Bhai's contribution towards education, interior design or architecture for that matter, who is forever ready to help the students in any and every way. And this is where I would request our chairperson, IIID HRC, Architect Manoj Bhai ji, to please come and felicitate our sponsor. There is a AV.
So let's have the AV of Darpan Furnishings.
Imagine a sofa that commands attention. Imagine one that demands minimal attention. Envision a sofa that's effortlessly stylish. One that effortlessly adapts to your client's lifestyle. Imagine vibrant fabrics that express your client's style with great detail. Imagine fabrics meticulously crafted with attention to great detail. Illustrate the shade of joy. Well, illustrate the shade of pure joy. Picture a sofa that exudes timeless beauty. Now picture one that endures the test of time. Imagine seating for one, for this one, and for this one. Now imagine a world where aesthetics and functionality intertwine, where beauty and durability coexist seamlessly. Picture a collection of sofa fabrics thoughtfully curated for the discerning like you. Introducing an innovative range of specialty sofa fabrics from Darpan Furnishings. Whether you're envisioning an upscale lounge or an informal cafe, our easy-to-clean, stain-resistant sofa fabrics will easily fit into your creative vision. Whether it's a meeting with friends or playful family gatherings, our water-repellent, scratch-resistant sofa fabrics can handle it all. Whether it's for moments that leave memories behind or for paws that leave prints behind, our kid and pet-friendly fabrics can become a foundation on which you design enduring spaces. Whether it's the lobby of a hotel or the bustling waiting area of an airport, our heavy-duty sofa fabrics can withstand the rigors of everyday life. Imagine a world where your imagination and our furnishings intertwine. Where your expertise and our exceptional service combine seamlessly. A world of endless possibilities awaits. Partner with Darpan Furnishings. Darpan Furnishings, bringing homes alive.
Thank you, Suleiman Bhai, for introducing another first. Yeah, thank you so much. And I'll now invite Zeenat ma'am and Suleiman Bhai to come on the front. And I would also now acknowledge the presence of our newly appointed chairpersons of the IIID Telangana chapter, Architect VVL Narsimham. Sir, you can also come in and be part of the felicitation. And I would request our past chair, Engineer Ravi Anchuri, also to join us. Please, yeah, come.
to please come forward and say a few words about him. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you, Architect Kanaka Nageshwarao Garu, for accepting the invite to present for IIID series today. So he's an architect, artist, and a badminton player. And when we give him on the floor, he will not leave the floor without dance. So he's a good dancer as well. And he has done his Master of Architecture, Construction Management, and also a gold medalist. He's pursuing his PhD in Research Scholar. Carries more than 20 years of experience in creating and materializing design to reality as per client's vision. Displayed strong skills in managing the entire gamut of project activities from scratch to closure by managing and achieving targets at various levels in national and international organizations. Delivered huge areas of projects successfully from design stage to reality. He's an expert in monitoring and alerting all stakeholders of projects from concept design, design development, and construction, and achieve the best results by following project management tools and techniques. He's a strategic leader and visionary, clarity of setting goals, delivered successfully international and national level use scale projects. Now please welcome Architect Kanaka Nageshwarao Garu. Please, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here, and I would like to thank IIID for this opportunity. I still remember, and it flashes in front of me, being a student attending IIID events, taking certificates from Ramurthy sir and most of you here. So glad, let me start my journey. It's moreover like a roller coaster. I strongly believe in seeing people or believing both sides of the coin. Let me explain me for myself first, so that I'm a strong believer of doing and then expressing others to follow the same thing. So let me explain and try my level best to put the philosophy what I follow and what I carry in my entire life. So let me start with my personal life. I'm the youngest of the four kids to my parents, and in the left bottom, the fifth one is my aunt. So being a youngest one, you can actually think what kind of childhood I was gone through. I was pampered, I was encouraged to what all I was able to do or achieve or test. So basically I used to dance, I used to entertain and do outperform whatever is actually required than what is required. So these are the latest one, and you can see the back one where I have recently danced for a homecoming event in Geetham University, Vizag. So the badminton is part of my life. I would like to say and conclude in the last how all these have added in my entire life. This is how I used to present myself so that motivate and get motivates whenever I interact with others or and get mentored from people like you. This is the transformation I have gone through ages. So this is the office spaces and how I carry as a professional, as a person, to build personality and character. So the ups and downs in life, that was my first car in UAE, and the recent car is the bottom one, and the right one you can see, that's the kind of seeing and believing. I have seen in 2008 to 12 the building, Burj Khalifa building up, and when I visited for the shorter period of 9 months,
we cherish and we carry a lot of learnings together from the time of, most of us are from kindergarten to 10th grade. So this is, most of them are still in touch and we share a lot and we get support from each other. This is my BIAC batch. Most of my faculty here and teachers knows them very well. And tomorrow we are having a reunion after 20 years. 2003 we graduated. And tomorrow will be, after 2 decades, we are going to have a reunion. And this is my ECBC batch. And this is my latest PG convocation happened in 2020 January. So this is the personal side of it, how it has influenced or made my believings or carry forward. Coming to the academics, how this has helped me in my academics, I would like to present this. This is the kind of manual works we used to do. Burning midnight candles. Most of the students in hostel used to take it very light, where with the influence from my childhood, I used to take very seriously every assignment, understanding nitbits of that, or trying to, not just for the marks, trying to understand. Those days we have only library as a source of information, or seniors. In hostel I used to, borrow a lot of technical pens and other instruments to complete these assignments on time. So this is the kind of in-depth detailing I used to do and learn. This is one of my first interior project, which was guided by Sona ma'am and Mehda garu and Aditya garu, Aparna garu. They were the teachers those days for me. This was my first interior project, where in my 7th semester I understood, okay, office interiors means there is space planning apart from built form spaces. The manual monitors you can see there, the monitors detailing. So the sketching part in BIAC times, this is all freehand sketch for Charminar documentation, Louis Kahn, which was cited for the 5th place at national level. This is the whole sheet composition. Few doodlings as a part of academics. And this is my thesis project, where Mehda madam was my thesis guide. I have done IMAX theater interiors. So pursuing PhD with continuing education. And now the second part, probably I would like to share on my professional front, what I have gone through, what I have understood and how it shaped me, my entire career till date. So Kanaka Nageshwara to architect Kanaka. Everybody knows me with my first name now. So it's a 2-decade journey. I quickly run through this roller coaster of my working with eminent organizations at national and international levels. This is a RC architecture, one of the youngest practicing team in Bangalore. I was fortunate to join them. It's a flat organization in Bangalore. So they encouraged me to be whole and soul part for Airtel Splendid Towers corporate office, from ground level to the 5th floor, right from customer care center to switch room to whatnot. Everything I learned in that project in the span of 9 months. So fast and so knowledgeable. So acre plot, where 6 acres were allocated by SEZ and inaugurated by late Vice Rajshekar Reddy garu. And I was one of the key person as a project architect to understand and implement the design part of the interior segment, where there are a lot of technical guys, right from head office we used to get details. I was part of the interior team, where a lot of site instructions we need to give. There is a lot of iterations. Without disturbing the head office team, I need to take a call and site by giving very intrinsic and detailed site instructions. All my skills help them to make sure and decide and conclude the details then and there itself. So this is a huge project which helped me to explore further the gamut of entire 6 acres of land, right from landscaping, water bodies, whatnot, in that everything. And this is another project, Virtues, the first lead project in Hyderabad. I was fortunate to be understanding what kind of materials goes through that, what is the lead rating systems in early stages of my career itself in 2008. Then I got a beautiful opportunity to work with Landmark Group in UAE. So Dubai, the home center is the segment I worked as. So here I was instrumental in understanding the changing phase of the old logo, color scheme, look and feel of the entire stores. It's a anchor store, one of the anchor store in a Landmark Group, which has which used to have 50,000 as an average store space. So I was part of this entire change of the left, rightmost top. You can see the old logo and the look and feel. The left is the latest one you can see as of now also. So this is a flagship project did in Mirdif City Center at the junction of connecting Emirates Road from Sharjah to Dubai. So it's a huge mall coming up with 470 stores then. So this is one of the prestigious store. They have taken it to unveil the new look and feel of that. That's the most challenging thing for me, where I have done with a lot of ease because of the experience I got in India. So this is the kind of a floating frame they did as an entrance surprise element, and this is a few places inside that. I quickly run through this. The displays. These are the two guys I worked and got inspired. These are from Seattle. Callison is one of the best retail designers then. I worked closely with them. In that, Ron is a designer himself from a fine arts background, and Doug is an architect. So where their designs and ideologies are very simple and straight. So as a project architect, I used to do the next level of developing the concepts of tendering, detailed drawings, execution, and project management side of that. So this is the mall spaces. It's not about, I always carry ideology of meeting people, understanding them, and learning from everyone. So this project helped me to understand what goes in a mall. Along with the parallel of Dubai Mall going on, Burj Khalifa going on, and Atlantis got reinaugurated at the same time, and the metro also inaugurated in the parallel period. So along with that, this as a everyday work for me to go there, understand the nitbits of that, and material they used to get internationally. They're kind of granites from Brazil, bluish shade granites, and different kind of materials. And I came back to India for the good in 2012. Then I joined my friend Nagaraju as a general manager for project management. So carrying this vast experience of more than nearly 10 years, I started standardizing the workflow, and he used to have certain issues of closure phases. They are all a team of project managers, designers, and certain set of people, but they're poor in closure or understanding the final snag list and understanding the handover part. So I was very key. I have played a key role in understanding the timelines of the project. As an interior guy, I understood the seriousness of a project from start to closure. So tried to give the right directions, training on every alternate Saturdays. And this was one of the prestigious projects this organization has grabbed and delivered on time, Google project. So they have taken a concept of 3 floors of different concepts, and I was part of the team till grabbing the project and tendering. Later on, I was not part of this when this was executed, but I strongly believe whatever I have inculcated and made the team to understand the seriousness of a project delivery or taking the concept till the last date of the site is, decision. This is a Scient CEO cabin and other renovation elements. Porous, one of the prestigious and costliest project done in very stringent timeline. Uses of different materials and latest technologies. And then I got an opportunity to work as a regional director for Telugu states with Zaita. It is a pure corporate fit-outs firm where they focused on BIM as a platform to deliver the projects. Here I understood the latest technology for the benefits of delivery and the huge scale of floor plans in a very tight timelines and budget-driven projects. So here I was developing the teams or making the schedules, tracking profit and loss. I got the whole gamut of business side of the projects. And later I got an opportunity to be part of Amaravati Capital Complex project, where I was part of developing the secretariat building space planning, especially focusing on the interior spaces. There are some around 30 to 40 departments, and the number of people requirement, all those we used to conclude, and we have given the Foster's a nice presentation where they have concluded in vertical alignment of those spaces finally. This is digital domain, American based CZ work, Spider-Man and whatever Superman projects, graphic works you see, these guys does this. And this is their first office in Wave Rock building in Hyderabad, India. And this is the most important project in my life, in my 2 decades of span. EA Games. While I was doing a post-graduation, I got an opportunity from one of my close client requesting me to handle this project. So I did this project alone. So this is one of the renovation project where my learning in this is I have implemented the most essential thing of any project is like understanding the long lead items and identifying the deliverables on time and keeping them. It's a running office. As a part of my UAE projects in retail, it's most of them are renovations part by part, and we need to make sure to deliver on Thursday morning so that they can do the sales on weekend Friday and on Thursday. So this helped me to understand the planning side of executions, where I delivered this project with height adjustable workstations, and this is the kind of progress I have done remotely. While going to college, I used to tell them the best part of interiors is, or any experienced guy, closing your eyes, you can tell the client or the site guys, go to left, go to right, you see this, there you can handle this. So that kind of control I have got, and with that easily I have delivered this project on time. These are the execution snaps, and these are the open pod meeting rooms, collaboration spaces, uses of different furnitures, 2 open pods in 2 different color schemes. This is a concept of home, feel home in workspace. And finally, in 2019, I got an opportunity to again go back to EIA, work on a very time stringent project. Edutainment stores. This is for the kids of 8 years to 4 years to 8 years kids, where they spend time on hourly basis by paying hourly basis. So this was floated for 25 stores before Expo Dubai Expo 2020. Unfortunately, it got shelved because Expo got postponed, and I was given no opportunity to come back to India. Then that's a different thing which I can continue after this slide. So these are the few achievements I have got during my 2 decades of time. Latest award what I got from IIIA as a best interior architect for EAA project, what I have handled individually. And another part of my journey is carrying my enthusiasm in art and delivering and seeing people happy about their seeing things in art. I used to do portraits along with the fine art students in Shilparamam. So that was the kind of pocket money I used to do, and I used to take advantage of understanding I can also deliver. But the what I experienced is not about the pocket money I made, but the happiness I have seen in the people while I'm delivering the work. That's what I experience when I do a good dance performance or delivered a good project, or kind of motivation I give and take from my mentors or my subordinates. These are the few projects which I have did for the first birthday of that boy. On the right, in the bottom you can see the 25th anniversary, wedding anniversary of a couple, and the left bottom you can see engagement photo gifted on a marriage day. So these are the few things I from Hyderabad. Hyderabad, they are going to Vizag next day. So I've delivered this. This is only possible in digital format, where I'm gifting this to away from India or away from Hyderabad easily. Otherwise, the manual one has its own difficulties. And I never lost the touch of human into these sketches. That's the acclaims and accolades I'm getting on this. So, seeing in believing in seeing is what I tell you. Like I've been traveling and understanding spaces. What we learn, what we experience is, you can justify that on your own by actually looking into that. I've traveled a little bit and met most of the people and understand them, what is possible, what is not possible. That's the reason it has taken so much of time. So, and yeah, I want to continue from my latest 2019 Abu Dhabi's trip. Then I was, the COVID has hit and I was not left with any of the options rather than taking, I have done PG because it may come to my place or understand to take up the academics in the next level of, phase of my life. But COVID has given, left with me no other option rather than taking teaching. And Geetam has given me a greatest opportunity in my life to interact, understand, and revive and relook into my academic strength. And I really enjoyed in working there for more than 2.5 years. And yesterday was my last day in Geetam in Hyderabad. So now today I want to take this as an opportunity to announce and explain on my new venturing and entrepreneur journey. This is the latest logo I have done just last week. And it's going to be Samyog Design Studio. So this is because of one of my mentor, guide, and none other than our own IIID member, Banu Garu. So I've been in touch with him for the past 5 years, discussing on what are the possibilities along with my academics. I never left or let me myself limit to the whatever is happening or satisfy myself with the possibilities. I always do look for outperforming or outstanding or doing the extra bit what is possible in every manner. That's what helped me in getting into this. So I'll be the director and principal architect here. And thank you for the opportunity and giving this chance for me to announce and unveil our part here. I would like to give my first card to Manoj Garu. That's it. Any questions, please? Any questions? Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Architect Kanaka Naganeshwar Garu, for sharing your incredible journey, and especially we can all relate to this. And just a year senior to you makes me remind me. It reminds me of all the kind of projects we did as a student, and the many facets he shared, were be it project management or interior design or architecture or artist within himself. Congratulations and all the best for the Samyog Design Studio, which is going to be unveiled officially tomorrow. So big congratulations to you, and it was an incredible journey indeed. This is where I would also like to take the opportunity to play the next video of the sponsors Malpani. Malpani Recrafting Ideas. Event sponsors Malpani and Darpan Furnishings, to whom we are forever grateful. So this is the AV presentation of Malpani's, which will just play. May I now request Mr. Varun Malpani and team to please come forward. And to felicitate them, I request Chairperson Architect Manoj Vahi.
And I would also like to invite our very senior member, Architect Bharat Shahji, and our past chairperson and my mentor for this term, Architect Aparna Bidarkar, to join on stage. Come, Varun. Come. Big round of applause. I think these guys are very silently supporting this movement of IIID where, designers and architects can, express and share their journeys. Thank you so much, Varun and Vikas. We are missing him today.
Thank you. May I now request Architect Pallavi Anchuri to come forward to introduce the next speaker for the day, for the evening rather, interior designer Afshan Khan.
Afshan Khan is an interior designer. She has done schooling from St. Anne's School, Secunderabad, and intermediate from Kasturba Gandhi College, bachelor's in interior design from Model Design Institute, Abbots. She has done 6 months diploma in psychology. She is LLB graduate from KVR Reddy College and pursuing masters in law from Aurora Legal Studies. As a student, she has won IIID competition in 1999, and in 2019, Design Cell Interiors was awarded with the Architecture and Excellence Award for Residential Project. She is heading a firm, La Vida Design Studio, collaborated with Design Cell Interiors, which has 15 years of experience. Let's hear a journey from Afshan. Please welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm a bit nervous, actually. I first of all want to thank IIID Chairperson Manojji, MC members, my seniors, colleagues and associates and dear friends. Today I'm here to talk about my life journey as an interior designer. I'm a bit excited and nervous too. Yes, okay. I think Pallavi has given my intro. Thanks a lot, Pallavi. To take it further, my early life. Born to a Muslim family with high moral values, father was an aeronautical engineer in Air Force, mother a housewife whose life has been very simple and dedicated to husband and children's growth. With 4 girl siblings around, as you can see there, my father around his 5 proud daughters, life has taken responsibility at a very early stage as my mother was less exposed to the worldly life and she followed a parda system. Grew up with tasks each day. As we didn't have a male member in the family, father well educated and wanted his daughters also to have the same moral values. Schooling from St. Anne's, Secunderabad, I was very calm and good conduct batch till high school. I'm a bit nervous actually. Grew up with responsibilities, balancing life with morals, which took the first place in my family. After my intermediate from Kasturba Gandhi College, I focused on developing my life, which was a little difficult to decide. I was because always interested joining Air Force to fly. Or do an education in such a way where my parents was always proud and never felt that they never had a male child. Finally, my interest since childhood was decorating home and doing some creative works at home, which gave my father an idea to, and he advised me to join architecture. But luck was not at my side because I was not able to join architecture. Those days it was MSET which we had to write. I missed that and landed up in Module Design Institute for 3-year course, which gave me a certificate of Bachelor's in Interior Design, which was affiliated to JNTU. Being creative was in my blood because mother was a very talented fabric designer those days, and all creative values were given to us. In 1999, won a quiz competition from IIID as a student. My sister sitting with me, completing my projects, and it was quite interesting those days. Life after education. During my advanced multimedia course, I met my husband. With couple of months, we knew each other, and not much thinking, I got married to him out of my community. And since then, life has been on a very adventurous trip. Mostly a roller coaster, I can say. As a freelancer and worked for Vision Labs director, Dr. Rajarao's bungalow at Flame Nagar near Ramanaidu studio. This is the first project. As a freelancer, I worked for 14 months. And it was amazing because I was under an architect from Pune, and I was here for project management and design implementation. Here you can see all the traditional works have been followed. I mean traditional designs and classic designs with all the three pillars are seen in this project, the Corinthian, Ionic and Doric. He has been very supportive, and since he didn't have a daughter, he always looked up to me as a daughter. Professional journey started with my own firm. As a proprietor, I registered as Design Cell Interiors in 2004. Initially did turnkey projects, consultancy, and further in the peak of profession career, worked hard to gain a platform for myself and explore the entrepreneurship in interior design industry, creating a mark as a designer. These are the few projects I have been doing then. Marriage was on rocks for me. Put me to find peace with work and life. Started volunteering at the organization which helped suicide and depressed for 10 years. Worked as a volunteer there. That gave me a lot of confidence and peace within myself to handle my problems and face them. It was like not helping them, but it helped me too. During this period, I did 6 months of psychology course. And in 2006, I got my first break and a free hand to design the entire project at Barakatpura, where she was a good friend of mine. And this is the project. Here I've explored a lot of things with live paintings and the entire furniture over here, the curtains and everything was got from the Delhi. This is the middle one, which it's really interesting for me because this friend of mine, they had a business of importing machines, printing machines, and they packed the machines in the pine wood, which is waste. So I figured it out, and once I landed up in the workshop, I wanted to work on this. But my client, my friend's husband, he said, no, I don't want to work on the waste one. So somewhere I had to convince him very hard, and I told him if it doesn't come out good, I would not take my fees. So this is how I had designed, and this was the center one which is there. That was the best place for our friends to hang out. In 2010, my elder son was born, and 2013. This years from 10 to 13 was a bit slow in my profession, but it gained a meaning to my life personally. It was a big change as a mother and a different responsibilities. Slowed down with careers, with a lot of crisis to handle personally, professionally, and financially, but was confident to hit the field back. Being a bread earner was not easy, handling personal and professional life with 2 kids and their responsibilities. With all the problems further increasing in marriage, decided to put a full stop to the suffering, which I did find solution to. Got separated and had to start a new life with scratch when I walked out of the house with kids and only my car. It was difficult initially, but always prayed for strength. this is one of the other project which I continued after that. One of my first client who was very impressed by that project, and then she said, Afshan, I want one room from the same wood which you have done it for my friend. Coming back to my personal life, it was difficult initially, but prayed for the strength. Alone with kids and a bit of, you can sort of, dhamkis from my ex, initially gained some strength, and to know more laws and further understand, how to live my life further. I enrolled myself in LLB. It was quite difficult, and I'm speaking this today in front of you all because I feel this entire is my family. So most of them, I think 80% of people know about my life, but still here I've got a platform to open and speak up more openly. I completed my LLB in 2022, which is last year. And during that period, it was really difficult. This is my son. They were most of the time with me on sites. I took them to, traveling was there with me. Most of the time they were there with me, and our Saturdays and Sundays would be heritage walks and time spent with them. And during this period, I was also traveling to Vijayawada, where I did a faculty job. I used to travel twice a week, and was a faculty there. That also gave me a lot of, you can understand it's been, I was like, whatever came to my hand, I wanted to do to just run my house or whatever you can say. It's not about running a house. I wanted to keep myself busy, not get into too much of depression or what, I had to bring up my children. So that was my major aim. During this time, I also started, after this, I gained more confident. I started taking up civil works. And further, in 2019, these are my projects, which I've just randomly put it across. This is a commercial building, 5-story building at Madhapur. I won an award, Architecture and Interior Award in 2019 for residential projects in Telangana. And in 2020, during the lockdown, I had nothing to do, and mostly. So I came up with a plan that I wanted to expand my work further. And along with a friend who's in Australia, I started Blavida Design Studio. In 2022, completed my LLB, and since I knew how difficult it is life when you're not clear with your laws and rights, and you're very much confused, decided to dedicate this education to service to society and enroll myself further for my master's in law. I'm pursuing my master's from Aurora Legal Services, and also doing my diploma in legal drafting, which would be useful for me in my field, because that I have seen it's really useful. This is one of my projects which is ongoing actually, and interiors are yet to start. This is in Vijayanagar Colony. I love painting. I do product designing. And one more thing I missed out over here is when I was doing my friend's house, with the waste wood or pine wood, you can say, that is a nice finished wood which we used to get. We started up a workshop called Pine Tree. We used to design artifacts, and we did a lot of things like trays to dadus and all that stuff. But that I had to shut down because I was expecting my first child, and my movement was slowed down, and I'm planning to start it further in future. These are my paintings done in lockdown, and that is one of the lamp which I designed in pine wood. These are my supporters and lifelines. My future is based around these girls. I love being around them, and I get more strength. We meet often. I get more strength and go back home for work and my kids. This is something it was a presentation which I had done, so I wanted to run this. This is how we work. I didn't speak much about the work because most of us are the same what we do, and we do it in a different way. Everybody has a different style of doing it. So open to questions. One more, I just want to run one video, which is, one of my projects. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Afshan, for sharing your journey with us. And we wish you all the best for the pine tree, the furniture and product design which you're working on, and your blend towards law, or the bend towards the Bachelor's of Law and the Master's which you're pursuing right now. All the best for your future endeavors. Last but not the least, the next speaker for our evening is interior designer Meghna Nimmagadda. With a bachelor's degree in engineering from BITS Pilani, Dubai, and a master's degree in interior design from Pratt, New York, Meghna has the ammunition to design spaces tastefully and artistically, while also taking care of functionality. She believes an efficient design tells a story without compromising its usability. She is bold and experiments with various design styles to ensure each project is as beautifully unique as her clients. She founded Design Tales in 2016 with a motto to add beauty to the world around her, and she is living this dream one project at a time. Design Tales is an interior design studio based out of Hyderabad, providing customized design solutions to a wide array of spaces ranging from residential to hospitality, retail, and commercial projects. The studio believes in designing spaces around a poetic concept that aims to tell stories of people and brands from a human-centric perspective. It works closely with vendors, contractors, designers, and consultants to tailor each detail that fits the concept. With its attention to detail and commitment to doing right by the client, Design Tales has executed over 32 projects across South India. It will be an absolute pleasure to have you here, interior designer Meghna Nimmagadda. Please give a round of applause. It will be lovely to hear your journey.
Okay, I hope all of you can hear me. Hello everyone, my name is Meghna Nimmagadda. I'm the CEO and founder of Design Tales. I started Design Tales in 2016, and we are so grateful for all that we have accomplished till date, and I'm really truly honored to be here to be sharing my story with you. I'll be sharing my insights, my learnings, and basically all those things that people told me, or someone told me when I started my career 7 years ago. So when we talk about any design studio, I think there are three main aspects. One is who you are as a designer and what you bring to the table. And second, the milestone projects that shaped you as a designer and shaped the studio. And finally, the process of how you do these projects. This includes the systems you have in place, the communication channels, and the protocols you have in place of how you do it. So let's start with who I am as a designer. I studied engineering from BITS Pilani, Dubai, followed by masters in interior design from Pratt. I always thought it was interesting how in design schools, when all of us were presented with the same design problems, and we had the same set of resources and same study material, but each of us would come up with a completely different design solution, right? And very different approach or way of looking at this problem. And I think it goes to show how we as people, everything we see, do, and hear really shapes us as people and as designers. So I think for me it was a sense of duality that I got from my experience in Dubai and in New York. They were very contrasting in nature. If Dubai, with its skyscrapers and revolving towers and underwater restaurants, it taught me to really think big and run wild with an idea. Whereas New York, things were real. It taught me that every square inch, every penny, and every second mattered. There would be a train at 10:04, 10:06, 10:08, but people used to be running to make it to the 10:04 train. And I never understood why. And it was so amusing, especially for someone coming from Hyderabad, because we know we all have our own Hyderabad standard time, guys. So it was not just the cities, but also the education itself. I think engineering really trains you to think about logic and reasoning, whereas interior design was about feeling and creating. So I think this gave me a good balance between creativity and also practicality. And for the same reason, I always admired the work of Danish architect Bjarke Ingels, and as all of us know them as BIG. I like their work because they create projects that are larger than life. They prove to the world that sustainability and practicality doesn't have to compromise the aesthetic value, or it doesn't have to be boring and minimal. They've done very practical projects but also made it really fun and bold. And I really resonate with that philosophy. Oh. I think it went ahead. Just a second. Yeah. And the second important aspects, the projects itself. As designers and architects, we're all taught to come up with a concept and stick with the concept till the end of the project. I personally feel that there is a small problem with it, because today spaces are designed to preserve the completion date forever. There is no room for expanding for newer things and newer experiences, because as people who are living in these spaces are growing and evolving, there is no space for improvements. And I think that needs to change. I think we should be more open to changes and newer ideas and experiences, because no design is truly ever complete. It will and must always evolve. And so the way we design is that we come up with a concept that is more to do with a feeling, an emotion, or a philosophy. This actually keeps the concept itself very fluid and open to change. For example, this project is called Staycation. It's barely visible, but it's called Staycation. This is in Lanzamitania. So as the name suggests, this was designed to evoke a feeling of being on a holiday. It was designed for a young couple. They're both doctors, so they barely get to travel. So it was designed for them to kind of evoke this feeling of being on a holiday. So we treated this project with bold colors and patterns. And we treated the entire living room, the dining and the bar area ceiling with green texture paint. It was not easy to convince the client of this. But in the end, it paid off, because we were able to create not just a home, but an escape for this busy couple. This project is from DSR the First. It was designed for a young couple again. And what's interesting about this project is that they both had very different tastes and likes. And it is a good example where concept came from a philosophy, because it was inspired from the idea that in life, nothing is really black or white. It's always in the gray. And so we did not stick to a single design style. We were experimenting with a lot of juxtaposition. If you can see, we juxtapose a lot of traditional wooden and wicker elements. That door is made of wicker. And we juxtapose that with a lot of industrial metal elements. So it was really interesting to explore how we were breaking so many rules that we learned in college, but still try to maintain a sense of rhythm and try to create a visual balance. So this has been an exciting experience for us. This project is from my home, Bhuja. And as all of you know, it is this huge apartment complex with about 1,500 units. And usually as designers, we are trained to adhere to the context of the building. But in this one, we tried to break free from it. And the reason is because I felt like when the user was supposed to reach the space, they had to pass these really big buildings that are looming over them, and cross these crowded elevators and then reach the space. So we wanted for them to feel a sense of peace and calm the moment they come into the space. And we did this by using strong anchor points, either with color or with texture. So what this did is it made the rest of the space look larger relatively. Coming to the next important aspect, it's the process. In interior design, it does not matter if you are an amazing designer and if you're doing great projects, if you're giving a very unpleasant experience to the client. So the whole process itself is very important. And for that, we have a couple of things in place, like I said, systems and protocols and so on. And we like to be very, very, very organized. You can ask my employees and they'll tell you how. And this means having cloud storage of all your files so you can access from anywhere. And also have an application that tracks your weekly targets, weekly progress, and also share this with clients. The next is communication. And like any relationship, in any relationship, communication is key, even in interior design. So we have WhatsApp groups where we share meeting minutes, task lists, believe it or not, even for the clients. So, because in interior design, if work not seen is work not done, right? There's no point if you do all this work and the client will think you're not doing any work. So it is important to also keep them informed of every step so they're a part of the process. And educate. The most frustrating part, I think, for all designers and architects is when clients include themselves in the design process. I think all of you will agree. But I think today I'm going to give you a different perspective. Imagine being a client and trusting a stranger with all your money and your home, right? It's a space that you'll be living in. So I think it only takes it only takes for us to be patient and explaining to them the intention behind every design choice, and some kind of mutual trust is built. And somewhere along the way, we've noticed then the clients have this trust and they stop asking you questions and they approve your selection, sometimes even without looking along the way. And lastly, respect. I strongly believe in treating everyone, your employees, your vendors, your contractors, and even the site worker, the same way you want to be treated by your client. And it's not just about respecting people, but also respecting the money, the client's money, and also, most importantly, the natural resources that go into making the project. Having said all of that, this is who we Design Tales are today. But we might change, grow, and evolve. This moment where I'm giving you this presentation itself would have changed me as a designer some way and changed my studio in some way, because the only thing permanent in this world is change. And it is changing at a very fast pace. We are changing the very DNA of our planet, and we are creating machines that are going to take over all of us with artificial intelligence. And so the only thing that is going to set us apart from machines is not the brain, not the intelligence, but the feelings and emotions. So let's design for people. Let's design to evoke emotion, to ignite hope, make better choices, conscious choices, save the planet, and always, always believe in magic. Because like Albert Einstein once said, there are only two ways to live your life. One is as if nothing is a miracle, and the other is as if everything is a miracle. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghna, for sharing this journey with us. It was indeed a nice perspective where we heard from the younger generation, which was indeed interesting. So now with the fifth speaker, we come to the end of the evening. And this is where I would like to felicitate all the speakers for the evening. To start with, architect Srinath Venna, may I please request you to come on stage? And to felicitate, may I request architect Uday Shankar Dhoni, architect Pallavi Anchuri, and architect Manoj Bahi to please come forward. A big round of applause, please. The second speaker for the evening, architect.
So now we would like to, just have a big round of applause for architect Uday Shankar Dhoni sir. He just stepped down from the chairperson of IIID Telangana chapter and he's moved to the national team now. So he's one of the NEC members who got elected yesterday. So a big congratulations, sir, and look forward to taking Hyderabad, at nationals from Telangana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. So to continue the felicitations, I would now request our second speaker for the evening, architect Professor Suman. Please come on stage, and to join her, I would want to have all her college mate seniors to do the honors, starting with Shilpi, Padmaja, and Rakesh Vasu. Please come on stage. Shilpi, come on. Big round of applause. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for really showing us another perspective of what architects can also do. Coming to the third speaker of the evening, very passionate, a big all-rounder, I think, and he really poured his heart out to us. Kanaka, as we all know him. Kanaka, come on stage. And to do the honors, I would request our past chairperson, Engineer Ravi Anchuri Garu, and our MC member, Sushmita, and our MC member, Subbarao. Please come on. Yeah. Thank you, Kanaka, and all the best. Now we move on to the fourth speaker, our very own interior designer Afshan. Please come on stage. You are great. And to felicitate her, I would request our past chairperson Aparna Bidarkar to come on stage. I would also request our very senior member Praful Modi to come on stage, and our joint honorary secretary architect Naveen Chalsani to come on stage. Please. Come. On the other side. 1 minute. Just wait for our heavyweight. On the other side. Naveen, you carry your weight on the other side. Yeah. You're balancing now. Great. Big round of applause for the superwoman amongst us. Yeah. And definitely, the evening is always not complete when we don't have youngsters in the hall and people who carry a different perspective. The moment we looked at the presentation, it's something different. So thank you, Meghna, for sharing your own perspective and for allowing you to make a presentation on very short notice. In fact, it was a very, very short notice. We invited her, and gladly she accepted the invite. So I would also want to call our Honorary Secretary, Architect Praveen Kumar, to come on stage. A very senior member of our association, P.S. Rao Garu, to come on stage. And also one of our very old members, Architect Medha, to come on stage, please. Come. I think, yeah, thank you. And now thank you, sir. And it's always so nice to see you, none of our events are complete when your attendance is not marked. Thank you. So and now, finally, I think we need to bring this to an end. And for those, yeah, we already felicitated? Yeah. So thank you. And for those who stepped in late and could not join us for high tea, you can join us for an early dinner. And and I would now request our Honorary Secretary to please come and give a vote of thanks. Thanks.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure to propose a vote of thanks to all the members for making this event resounding success. The IIID series offer a special platform to the design community, and I would like to thank our speakers for sharing their journey and key projects and experiences. It was truly a delight to get your insights. The sponsors for today's event, Darpan Furnishings and Malpani Recrafting Ideas, have our sincere gratitude. We appreciate the support provided by Universal Event, our event coordinator, and Hita Design, our creative partner. Finally, we would like to express our gratitude to the Taj Mahal staff for their hospitality and adding their success of this event. Thank you.
Can I have all the speakers in the center, please, so we can have one picture with all of them, and then I would request all of you to join in. So just let's have all the 5 speakers, please come in. And we can have the MC and all the senior members also join in, please. Suleiman Bhai, our sponsors, Zeenat ma'am, Varun, please come on stage, come on the center, please, come. Come on, come Rakesh, Subbarao. So we are the junior most. Come, please come. And I could acknowledge the presence of some of our victorious candidates of the IIA. They're all here. So you can all just come and be on the photo op. Sir, please come, sir. So there's another announcement. It's something to be very proud of. So IIID has actually launched a book called Craft in Interiors. This was done in Delhi on 24th of June, and under the our own very own past chairperson and mentor has been one of the co-curators of the book. The book is available online through the Mappin Publications website. It's a lovely book which has a lot of contributions to how craft and interiors can be used. So I think if you guys can go onto the website of Mappin Publications and you can buy the book online. Thank you. Can I request the families of our speakers also who've been so important in the lives, can they all come and join us on stage for another picture, please? Come, please come. Come. Kanaka, where are you? Yeah, you are right here. Come. Can I have everyone, your children, Afshan, your boys, come, please come. Can all the families of the speakers along with the speakers join on stage? Come on. Suman ma'am, please come with your family, your friends, come. Srinath, if he's still around, come. Meghanam, no, all of you can all go together. Come on, please. So we have 3 speakers, 4. I think Srinath is probably he just rushed into something else. Yeah, please, come. Srinath, are you here in the hall? Srinath, I think no, he left. He's in the washroom? Yeah. We can have another picture when he comes. Please, ma'am. Some of you can join in. We'll just wait. Sushmita, join. Your picture was in the presentation. You are also family. Come on. Wait, I'll join this. Now with our fifth speaker, he's joined us. Again, can I request all the speakers please back here? Sorry. Can you just, we have Srinath also now join us. Come on, come on. Yeah, speakers and their families and the close ones. Please, one last picture. Please come. Meghna. Yeah. Come, one more. Now the picture will be complete. Please. Join. Aram se. Aajo, ma'am. Meghna, please. Ma'am, join. Yeah, you can move this way. Sushmita, where are you? Yeah, please join. Thank you.